Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Fireside Casts. I'm Eki in the booth with Wild Rumpus, bringing you the TF2CC Newbie Cup 10 show match between Team Khaltonus and Team Wiggy on Process and Bagel. I am as excited as ever. I'm always happy to do these Newbie Cup casts. I'm feeling pretty good about tonight. How about you, Mr. Rumpus?
Yeah, pretty much the same. It's definitely been cool in the past years to see TF2CC not only start doing these newbie cups, but really stick to them. I mean, we're on the 10th iteration now. And it's just great opportunity for these new players to kind of no stakes required, just, try out sixes, see if they like it, things like that. So, of course, we have a show match tonight, just kind of showcasing what sixes looks like for those of you who might be brand new to it. And yeah, a bunch of different community members here getting together, just playing some games.
And I will always rep the Newbie Cup because, like you said, it kind of lets these people who aren't familiar with it or maybe have heard of it but haven't ever played it, it lets them try it without having to worry about committing to an 8-week long season of RGL that could potentially go longer if they make playoffs. It's really a fantastic resource for a lot of these newer players, and I'm happy to be here in the double digits in the double digit show match because I think I've been doing this since Newbie Cup 6, so it's always fun to come here and just kind of, yeah, I mean, I started here, so in a way I'm kind of, it's giving back a little bit, but yeah, I mean, this is a show match, so this will be a lot of the coaches and I believe some staff from TF2CC just kind of duking it out on Process and Bagel. I don't know if they're using the configs that they'll be using in the Newbie Cup, because I'm pretty sure the configs they use are different just for the sake of time, but yeah, I like I said earlier, I'm pretty excited. I think we're going to see some really good TF2. I recognize a good chunk of these players. Shelzor, Nona Way, a lot of the FHC players, the Federal Hot Dog Committee, if you will. Is there anyone you maybe recognize?
I mean, most of the names in here, we may as well run down roster. So based on who I recognize, the vast majority of players here are in, roughly RGL main to advanced. Why don't I start off introducing, I'll do Team Khaltonus. I'm probably just going to be calling them red and blue, but we'll see. So we have Earsy and May on scouts. Is that correct, though? Because I see AT is in the server and on the team, so AT might be subbing in for someone.
I think AT may be subbing in for Earsy here.
That would, make sense. And then their soldiers going to be Mild and Khaltonus. Freya on demo, and Rui will be their medic.
Yeah, and looking at the Team Wiggy roster, or red team for the sake of simplicity, your scouts will be Nona Way and Moose. Your soldiers will be Trev and the namesake of the team, Wiggy. Your demo is going to be Austin. Your med will be Shelzor. So I recognize like half of the roster of the red team already. Actually, I recognize more than half. I recognize, I think, 4 out of the 6 people playing on that team. So I think just off the familiarity, I don't know if we have channel point predictions going on or anything, but if we do, I think it's going to be a safe bet to put your money on Team Wiggy. But I think it'll be pretty close. These two teams are pretty fairly matched in skill, I think.
Yeah, the one name that stands out here, to me at least, is Moose playing Scout, because if I remember correctly, Moose won Advanced on this class. So definitely probably going to be the strongest player in the server. Main classing, which definitely going to be really strong. And we might see some of that, differential in skill, I guess, because players can get really good at this game. But that being said, still is just a show match. Still is just for fun. Yeah, we are pretty much ready to go whenever these teams both ready up. But we are on Process, definitely a map that players will recognize, even if you don't have any familiarity with competitive TF2, and definitely a standard of kind of the, what's the word I'm looking for, just newcomers in general, learning the ropes. This is oftentimes the map you'll be playing.
Mm-hmm. And this is, as I say, this is the Sixes map. I think a lot of people say that as well. This is kind of the map where you learn anything and everything on. You learn kind of the basics of Sixes. You learn the fundamentals of height control. You learn line theory. You know, if there's something new that you need to learn that's kind of fundamental to Sixes, your coach or your mentor or whoever is probably going to load up Process and kind of explain it to you on that map, and then you kind of have to apply that knowledge to other ones, because it's the map that everybody knows. This map has been solved for pretty much as long as Sixes has existed. I mean, it's the staple map. I don't think there's ever been an RGL season where it hasn't been included. So, you know, everybody has played it, whether they like it or not. But we are going live for the first round of Team Khaltonus versus Team Wiggy. Blue will be Khaltonus, red will be Wiggy, and I think I'm going to let you go ahead and take away this first mid here.
Yeah, sure. So we actually see both soldiers go for a fast rollout, kind of duke it out on top of the point, both jumping away. Now, the positioning control here from Blue, it looks like they're trying to walk across the right side and collecting kills for it. Moose actually first one to go down. Trev is going to bomb in, trying to land on Freya, get some damage on the med. But with 4 kills, definitely a, I want to say slower paced, but mostly a positional mid there from Blue.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit slower than some other mids you may end up seeing later on here. Both soldiers doing the fast rollout, I think, kind of forced that mid to be a little bit slower. And while 4 players did die, at least they were able to keep their beam alive on the side of Wiggy. They were able to keep their beam up, so they're going to have to push in on even Ubers for Cal. May will win the DM fight with Moose inside of rollout, so that does kind of... that gives Blue Team a little bit of a window to try and push through, but I don't think they're going to take it too aggressively. They're going to try and bide their time here as they do push in through 4. It's Freya, and I believe this is AT trying to spot through. They do end up peeling back as the reinforcements come in, if you will, for the side of Team Wiggy, and we'll probably just see a stalemate here as we wait for either of these teams to get a sack off.
Yeah, so we saw Mild actually bomb in much earlier and goes in yet again here. Of course, Sixes, you're operating off of advantages and disadvantages, and one of the big ones is Uber. In this case, both medics have Uber, so that's not really a consideration. And then besides that is just player advantage and disadvantage. So in a situation in which everyone's alive and both teams have Uber, you usually see this attacking team with control of mid, in this case the blue team, send in a sack. So a soldier usually, sometimes a soldier and a scout. There's a variety of different ways to sack, but the basic premise is you send a soldier in to bomb the other team's medic and try and get Uber advantage, right? So, yeah. A lot of different ways that teams might be assisting, making their sacks more likely to succeed, such as pressuring doors, getting spam, things like that. But that's kind of the name of the game right now.
Yeah, and I mean, we see Team Wiggy right now kind of taking up that just textbook even position, the gun getting set up on the point, getting placed in as good of a spot as they can manage it. May will be able to push through and take down Wiggy with the help of Mild, but will get traded out with No Way, so that is the sack for the side of Team Khaltonus. I'm wondering if May come up on an off class here and try and maybe spy, maybe some sniper, try and have something thrown in the mix to break the stalemate, and looks like they're going to be coming up on sniper here.
And notably as well, No Way right now is on spy on last and disguising a bunch. The reason for that is because the fact that disguises prioritize players on a class, you can use it to verify if someone on the other team is off-classing, which is really important against this sniper because especially those classes like sniper and spy into last or as a stalemate breaking class, the biggest battle is kind of the knowledge, and knowing that there's a sniper or knowing there's a spy immediately makes those classes less likely to kill your medic.
Yeah,
oh my god.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no way. tried to swap to sniper, maybe anticipating an SVS, but ends up getting a lot more than they bargained for. Will be able to get the drop onto Rui here. So this is going to be pretty much Team Khaltonus has to give second here. They may even have to give mid. They're definitely going to have to try and leave someone to die. I do believe they have Mild up on Spy. Will be decloaking. Hasn't been spotted yet. He's going to get the backstab on a Shellzor. And Freya's going to be able to find No Way as well. Finally, 2 players dying for the side of Team Khaltonus. But there's only so much they can do. May will get bombed. They are going to go down for it, but I think just player ad will be going in favor of Team Khaltonus here. They're going to be able to reclaim second and potentially get themselves, not full Uber ad, but a very sizable chunk of ad.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised that we saw a dry push out of last from the red team without popping Uber because, you know, May was still on sniper, never died on that class, and dry pushing against a sniper is definitely a risky proposition. But the sniper isn't even what got them. They were running a sniper and a spy. So because Blue's medic survived and Red's did not, now it is Uber advantage, and unlike the kind of stalemate and sacking that we saw earlier, we're going to see much more aggression here. They're going to be getting through these doors, potentially using this Uber.
Yeah, and I think with Mild dying here, that might slow them down a little bit, but that Uber coming through, they need to be able to take Shellzor down relatively quickly, as they are relatively close to getting Uber as well at 99%. They're going to have to pop on the point here to prevent Khaltonus from getting in. That is if they apply enough pressure. Looks like Khaltonus, the namesake of the team, going to bomb forward, will be able to get the force out from Shellzor, but the rest of Team Khaltonus isn't really able to follow up on it. Looks like Freya will get pinched by Austin and No Way, and they will go down for it. But at the end of the day, if Team Khaltonus builds this out correctly and optimally, they will be able to sit with a good chunk of Uber ad yet again.
Yes, and May actually quite aggressive on point. So the name of the game right now is the fact that Rui survived earlier. Ooh, bomb in actually from Khaltonus, and finds the med. Okay, well done. It was Uber advantage for the blue team anyway, but now it's going to be even more. They did lose some players for it, and that fight on 2, the reason that Red were taking space, even though it was Uber disad, is because, first of all, Rui didn't have Uber yet, only had ad, and second of all, there were multiple players on the blue team who were dead, so that player advantage kind of offset the Uber advantage.
Mm-hmm. And it does look like, even in spite of all that they kind of face here, they're still trying to go for something, maybe try and get a force here, go for some kind of salvage play or something, but doesn't really seem like it's going to work out for him there. Team Wiggy will have to back up and set up on last. They're sitting on full disad here, and the level 1 sentry isn't really going to be able to do much. That is Freya bombing forward. Or actually, probably not really much of a bomb. They're just going to kind of waddle forward. No need to bomb when you're sitting with this much ad. You can kind of just take the space and play off the picks you're going to get in that post, but they need to be quick with it. AT going down here. Looks like a lot of good damage from Khaltonus, but no one's really able to follow up on it, and so that is a failed push from the side of Team Khaltonus. They just weren't quick enough, weren't able to get any picks in that post, and now they're sitting at about 45 disad-ish, or rather 50 now, and have to get ready to leave second. But wait a minute, big bomb coming in from Mild.
Not enough to get the force, but as we saw here, you can sack in more situations than just even Ubers when it's disad like that. We saw the red team, they still have to get through choke points. That's kind of a momentary disadvantage, and Mild trying to get the Uber force with that. Now at this point, because of Rui building this Uber out, both teams now have Uber. Even Uber fight on mid. Bomb in from Wiggy. Should get cleaned up here. Is going to go down, and that is a pick. Rui quite weak. Force actually comes out on Shellzor, so we might see an exchange here. We do. Yeah, this is all about this post-Uber.
Yeah, this post-Uber is going to be, like you said, what kind of... It tells how the rest of the game is going to go. Like you said, it's all about that. It does look like Austin will get launched up into the air, going to get chased down by AT, will go down as he's pinched entirely. AT also going to be able to mop up Shellzor. So this is the kind of situation where you just leave a scout on the cap and you run forward, you try and take as much space as possible, and that's exactly what Team Khaltonus is going to do. Mild is able to find Wiggy and may even be able to find Trev here. Hits the air shot off the wall. Not quite a full air shot, but does look like Team Khaltonus will be able to get into last after about 9 minutes almost of back and forth. The first round has finally been converted.
And nice pacing there as well, because keep in mind that Uber exchange of sorts happened on mid, and the blue team were able to collect their kills and basically just hold W, chase the routed red team all the way to last, and just score the round outright.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the few... Oh my goodness, I forget what I was saying. Mild tries to go in fast and gets taken down immediately. Stickies from Austin ready to catch him out there. And that is where Team Khaltonus is actually just going to back out very, very quickly. Big bomb coming in from Wiggy, able to hit the last rocket and will take them down. Does look like Khaltonus, or the team, Khaltonus rather, not the player, will be forced to back out all the way to the last. They lost Rui there, so they're going to have to hold on full disad. But, man, this is... ain't looking too great for Khaltonus, but this is still holdable as long as they kite around the Uber properly.
Yep, so we do see Mei on heavy here instead of engineer. A sentry gun is better than a heavy, but you don't always have the time to build a gun, whereas the heavy is pretty instant. In this case, however, there may have actually been time for a gun, since Trev and Wiggy, both of Red Soldiers, did die, so you expect them to slow a little bit before the push. But yeah, the push is happening through 3 here.
Yeah, they're in. Mei taking a lot of damage, will get taken down by No Way. Mild is able to mop up 2, though, in the form of, I believe, Moose and Austin. Does look like it's going to be even players in this post-Uber here, as Rui is about 80%, 85%, getting very close to that Uber, but Team Wiggy going to have to back out. They've already, cut their losses. They're not trying to, bite off more than they can chew. They're already playing by choke. Anticipating the push out from the side of Team Khaltonus, and that's exactly what's going on. Big bomb coming forward from Trev, though. Not quite able to land the rockets down.
Behind.
Ooh, yeah, this is going to be big, potentially, for them. That's around, yeah. What? Well.
Yeah, so for anyone new to sixes, that is a back cap we just saw, and it's a big deal. I mean, so the last point is the fastest capping point, so if you're pushing out of last, then even if you're capping second, sometimes you can just get out-capped by a single flanker, so it's really important to be spotting not only the players in front, but making sure all your flanks are controlled, no one is getting through them during those pushes, which is why pushing out of last can be pretty difficult sometimes.
Yeah, getting out of last can be hard. You have to make sure you're clearing each and every doorway, make sure people know where they're going, but it looks like we're going to have a double bomb coming in from the soldiers on the side of Team Wiggy. They're going to be able to knock up Rui into the air, but they will survive. Mild and AT going to be mopping up those soldiers like it's nothing. Clean up on Isle Death Corner. They're going to be able to hold on to this mid, at least for the time being. Rui able to get themselves back up to full. Mei dying now. This is kind of turning the tables in favor of Team Wiggy, with Team Khaltonus being stuck by the red team's choke. They have no choice but to try and take an exchange.
99%.
99 dropping there. That's the end of that fight pretty much. And now Khaltonus has to go in for maybe some kind of salvage. Does manage to get the force.
Yeah, that mid, I mean, both of every soldier actually in the server ended up dying during that mid, but each team kind of ended up on the other team's side where you're just sort of stuck. So the fact that I think it was Mei was the first one to go down after that pick matters a lot, because from there you probably just lose, and the fact that Rui actually ended up dying at 99% was just unfortunate.
Yeah, but at the very least they were able to get that force on mid, so they did get some kind of salvage at the bare minimum. So it will be an even last hold. Not all, it's not all Dunzo. It's not Jover for Team Khaltonus just yet. And it actually looks like they want to push out. They don't want to give Team Wiggy the time of day. They don't want to give them the room to set up some kind of last push, even while they're at 15 disad. And when you're up at a level of play like this, where all these players are fairly quick on their feet, they know exactly what they want to do pretty much all of the time. 15% disad can amount to be a whole lot, but yeah, Moose taking that fight in IT. Will get taken down. Wiggy going to die to Khaltonus as well.
And the fact that Wiggy dies there, 2 picks is definitely a lot better to counter-sack with than 1, and in fact we can see the choke is a little bit free. Khaltonus going to be getting through the entire combo from the blue team, walking forward, taking space. A lot of spam as well. Trev needs to get healed, and we do see the exchange get popped, and Rui drops.
You cannot be having that. If you are Rui, you've got to pop there, you know, as the old adage goes, pop it, don't drop it. But unfortunately, probably just not able to respond quick enough. A lot of damage came out all at once, so it's just an unfortunate set of circumstances there. That's going to be a full team wipe for Team Khaltonus here. Does look like Wiggy will be able to set themselves up on second. They did lose Shalzor there, so they won't be able to kind of shove their way into last. But I think Team Khaltonus is probably going to just try and get out onto 2. They know they have the heal advantage. They know they have the Uber advantage, however slim it may be.
From Trev.
Oh my goodness.
Does not work out, and Austin dies as well, so no demo. So this will be a successful push out. And while Rui did spawn first, making it Uber advantage, it's really marginal. Looking like only 15-20%. A little difficult to play into mid when you're kind of on the back foot on your own second. But look at this, the doors are relatively free. Khaltonus goes down though. That might call things off for blue, but they're taking this fight.
They're going to try and take this fight in. Does look like they're going to get nuked by Wiggy and Trev, though. Going to be able to find Freya and May inside of that choke. Mild will be able to trade out with Wiggy. It looks like they're going to be going in for a bomb, trying to get the salvage. Not quite able to, though. Shelzor remains unscathed. It's AT flanking in. Will get picked up by Trev and Austin, though. So no more salvage attempts for Khaltonus. No more attempts to try and get that beam down. They just have to set up on last and try to get things locked down.
Yeah, the push, I mean, if the doors aren't being held, then you can take space and do things. But once you lose that player in Khaltonus, it's kind of hard to justify staying in. And it was a costly mistake as well, because now it's going to be not only Uber disad, but Uber disad on last, which could mean that Team Wiggy here could take the lead.
Team Wiggy has a lot of opportunity to try and get their way in, and as we see that Uber coming out, there's only a level 1 on the point. It takes a very long time to get taken down. It actually doesn't even get taken down. It's going to be destroyed as the NG swaps off. A lot of players coming out from the spawns now, trying to defend their last point to the utmost degree. Looks like Wiggy going to be bombing forward. With the help of Moose, going to be able to find Freya here. Big bomb coming in from the side of Mild, though. Going to be able to land on top of Wiggy. Will take him down, but there's so few players alive on the side of Team Khaltonus. It's just Rui and AT. AT manages to 3-rune blade Trev. It's just Rui on the point, though. And, you know, while Medic may be a fragging class, I don't think it's very easy to win the 1v4 there, so... As you predicted, Wiggy will get themselves in the lead.
Yeah, I think if the demo's not there, raining down stickies on point, then maybe it's doable by time for spawners. But yeah, definitely a successful last push for Team Wiggy. And looking at yet another mid here, Trev again rolling out fast, not committing on the demo, just trying to get some early spam, which is successful. Austin a little weak, however. Khaltonus going to be instantly bombing in and actually just shut down completely. Pick gets traded out for Moose, however, so even picks. Wiggy going to be bombing and committing onto Rui. 8 HP Surf on top of the point.
But no
does
way.
Get chipped down. Ooh.
Yeah, No Way was just on top of the point there, maintaining control of that high ground while the rest of his team pushed forward. So as Rui surfed up to the blue crate, No Way kind of just... threw themselves forward and was able to capture it. Ooh, but nice spoon from Mild. Going to be able to even things out and give Team Khaltonus a good chunk of Uber ad while we wait for Shelzor to spawn.
Yeah, that late med death is definitely going to matter as far as Ubers are concerned. Moose is fighting this, however. Ooh, and actually there's more players here now. Fast rollout from both soldiers. Yeah, Freya does die. Trev goes down, as does Moose. And now that heals are here, these blue players are much better supported for fighting. So with these 3 kills, second should actually be very easy to fight, which might backfire, or that fight on mid might backfire for the red team, because second is so free, Rui, who's now at 80%, feels much more comfortable about playing this Uber into last, as opposed to having to dry push 2 first.
And I think part of what's going to make the hold for Wiggy so difficult here is they have No Way dead, so they don't really have the opportunity to set up an off class unless Moose was able to come up. But ignoring that, it looks like AT going to be able to stand on top of the point here about halfway through. Uber has finally ended for the side of Khaltonus. They are going to lose Freya and AT in it, though. Potentially Khaltonus and Mild, but they are making it nuclear as Mild and May are able to find Way, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was Trev as well, but the counter pop coming out from the side of Wiggy. While they had, Uber ad, they weren't able to mop up as many kills as they needed and weren't able to maintain that point pressure, so they are going to have to back out to mid.
Yeah, the Uber was going well. I mean, Freya was able to kill Austin, and a demo kill matters a whole lot. But the Uber tried to end on the left side, but both of Red's scouts just ran out at the combo from the left side. And rather than collect those kills and help out with it, the blue soldiers were actually on the other side of the map, assuming that the combo would be crossing and, pinching. But that was not the case. Now, that being said, Rui did survive, and with the force on Shellzor on last, it is slight ad. At this point, only like 10% left. They're trying a dry push through lower IT. We'll see if we see an exchange as Shellzor gets or not.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to see an exchange as soon as Khaltonus spawns in here. Although, we may see a 5v5 exchange come out. We do have a few players from the side of Team Wiggy trying to push forward, as they do actually end up Ubering. Maybe a little bit of a disjointed one, though, as the Uber for the side of Team Khaltonus is a little bit... actually, it was a little bit worse, all things considered. They will be able to find No Way here, but all for nothing, as May is treated out by Trev. So it's a scout for a scout. Not the worst trade in the world to be subject to if you are Team Khaltonus, waiting to push in. You could definitely make things happen, down a scout.
Yep, and we're seeing some pressure into last.
Mild.
Nice bomb. Yeah, gets through one, I think, maybe two. One of the doors on the left side very cleanly. That's an easy med kill. So, actually down both soldiers. It's a little scary for Team Khaltonus here. We're seeing some salvage attempt from Wiggy. No Way peeking one on Sniper. That's dangerous as well. As long as the blue team can just keep Rui alive.
Moose is in.
Yeah, that was the one thing they wanted to avoid, is making it no longer Uber advantage. Nice, I guess, sellout. Nice salvage from the red team. Wait,
AT's on the point. Getting a lot of cap. He's the only one on it. And he manages the ×4. Carries that cap all the way through. They capitalized on people being distracted on Wiggy, looking at those players from rollout and one. And they just kind of... they got the cap for free there.
Yeah, I don't know. That was just remarkable. that shouldn't be happening. But nice play from the scouts. I mean, cap time, it matters.
Absolutely. Cap time is everything, especially on last, as you mentioned earlier, fastest capping point in the game. So if you can get good cap time, you can pretty much be set. It's going to be a bomb from Khaltonus. We'll get a lot of damage onto Shellzor, but won't be able to clean up the kill. Austin, Wiggy, Trev, and Moose, all four of them going to be dying on that mid, though. If Khaltonus wants to send a soldier in, that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to send Mild in deep. Going to be landing on top of Shellzor. Doesn't hit the spoon, though. Will trade with No Way.
Shellzor is still caught.
Down, though. Shellzor could die here.
Wow.
Yes, he will. Oh, my... Yes, she will, as AT is able to chase them down and get the free pick.
Yeah, and again, the late med death. So you can see Ubers matter a whole lot here, and Rui now with full Uber advantage. We're going to see potentially another quick round scored here, actually. Do you have Trev hiding in one, interestingly enough? I don't expect the blue team to go one, as they do enter lobby. Likely see an Uber through 4 here, since the gun is on the right side. Does get spotted, so yep. Here it goes.
Rip through 4, looking to try and bomb, but that sentry does stuff it. They do take it down, don't manage to take down the NG at the very end of that, but I don't really think it matters. The Uber has faded. No players have died on either side yet. Looks like Austin and Mild going to be trading as soon as I say that. Now Khaltonus going down, tries to jump over the point, but will not be able to get anything. A lot of cap time, though. There's no bodies on the point. Where is Team Wiggy?
Yeah, with Austin going down to that bomb for Mild, that means there's no stickies on point. And then I think Trev was occupied, maybe in spawn, because, of course, beyond the stickies, your primary way of stopping that point is going to be those soldier bombs. And AT just getting enough cap to where you can kind of cap in the very margin as the walls are closing in, as the soldiers are bombing.
Absolutely. I mean, Just unfortunate there wasn't really anyone to throw their bodies. Of course, at the end of the day, it's, you know, like, it's still, you know, where is Team Wiggy? I do think they maybe could have had someone throw themselves up onto the point, but, you know, I think it already ended. It's already up, you know, it doesn't matter. Mild and May will be going down, so will Khaltonus on the side of, you know, the namesake of Khaltonus. They're going to have to back out all the way to second, potentially playing by Shutter as they anticipate some kind of... Actually, no, it's even clear, so there probably won't be a sec. Wait a minute.
This was a nuclear mid as well. I mean, still ongoing with the refight. I mean, it's really next team to get a kill wins this mid. Uber actually getting popped here. Yeah, which means, and Wiggy actually dying for the counter pop as well. Yeah, this is not good at all for Red.
Clawed out like crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is just not what they want.
Yeah, you would expect that you can get the force anyway, considering you have actively Ubered players in the blue team's face, but Wiggy still just commit his life to it. And yeah, longer Uber for blue as well. There's just a lot of things making it so that Red's completely caught there.
I mean, it's just unfortunate for the side of Red team here. Team Wiggy not quite able to keep Shelzor alive. They were just stuck in that mid. Wiggy dying for the force there, maybe not the most ideal play, especially because you know Khaltonus is gonna, you know, like run straight into you anyway with their counter pop. So I think at that point it's kind of like send your scout straight forward and you know, or even if well, you know, you can have Wiggy die. You know, there is a way to get around that. You have Wiggy go and get that force, and at that point it's just
the combo just needs to get out.
Exactly, but we are going into the last here. Lockout time coming out from AT. The soldiers try and jump in. AT actually gets flashed on the point, so they're not quite able to finish out the cap. There's two players down on the side of Team Wiggy, and Khaltonus' team is going to be able to make that scoreline 4-2. You know, maybe I put my channel points on the incorrect team, at least for process. But
yeah, that's the second round in a row now that cap time alone basically just won the push, because the sentry gun took a while to go down. That was otherwise not the best push. So yeah, Red kind of gotta be more on top of that. However, on this mid, we do have again the double fast from each soldier. Both a bit of a meet here on the right side. Khaltonus is the one to go down. With so many players getting health packs, the positioning from blue is basically just out already. It was Freya going to be caught. No, is going to survive. Down one for blue. We're going to see some pressure, but in all likelihood, just sacking pressure for Red.
Yeah, I think Wiggy really gave his team that mid there. I think Khaltonus was looking to push forward. They were looking to take home that... or excuse me, they were looking to refight that mid there, but with Wiggy getting in and juggling Freya up into the choke and preventing them from pushing forward, kind of stopped them. It does look like Rui going to be launched up into the air by Trev, will not be able to hit either air shot attempt, and will get cleaned up by another soldier. I believe that was by Mild he got cleaned up by. So that is the sack attempt from Wiggy, and now comes in the counter from Mild. He gets the spoon. It's massive. Put that one in your frag montage. They are going to lose Mild, Khaltonus, and AT for it, though. Potentially
May is in as well.
May.
So,
May's actually going to win.
Okay, that's a nice kill to get, but the blue combo definitely just needs to back up. Ooh, nice trap kill there from Freya. Still, the only way this goes poorly for blue is if they get too ambitious, because you see all these combat players from Red, they actually have no one to shoot at, except for May, who I expect to get cleaned up here. But they don't really have an objective besides get the force on Rui. No Way is slipping behind as well, so there's at least a scout behind. Completely... Oh, gets spotted now. Austin dies on the front lines as well. So it looks like all the threats are handled. Blue has all their spawners, so they've stabilized. But things were a little scary there.
Yeah, things were looking a little spooky for the side of... my nuke from Trev! He lands onto Rui with two downward directs and takes him down. Big drop for Trev there. That's going to be huge for Team Wiggy, as they're sitting at about 63% Uber, still building up, looking to get themselves back in onto mid as quickly as possible once their soldiers leave the respawn queue.
Yeah, as I was mentioning earlier, how you see that disad sack as the other team is taking space. I mean, getting through a choke point is vulnerable, and Trev with a nice timing there is able to just kind of synchronize when he was landing to when Rui was getting through choke. Easy 2 rockets.
I mean, that was just a really great bomb from Trev as well. Getting in on that, I don't want to say off timing, but getting in when they were kind of not paying attention. You know, they were able to just throw themselves in. Does look like Moose will be able to clean up May in that back line. Will they be able to clean up Mild, though, in a timely fashion? It's not looking like it so far, but it does look like Team Wiggy will be able to set themselves up on mid here in spite of how long it takes to take down Mild. With Mild being trapped behind for so long, it kind of ruins the spawns for Team Khaltonus. So Wiggy will be able to get themselves set up in mid rather dominantly.
Yeah, there was still good time being bought there because Ubers have now evened out, which, considering Rui dropped, this should be like a lot of that for Shellzor, but no, it was only enough to convert the 1 point. However, May actually dying while holding lower IT, but the double sack gets dealt with. Players are still in though. noemie might be caught here, getting bombed from Khaltonus. They're gonna try and chase, do get the kill. Actually, Freya bombing in, 1v1ing Austin on point. Uber gets popped as well. It's just a full chase now for Shellzor, who has no one to heal. Spawners are here. It's the force. It's just a matter of how many kills Red can get with this Uber.
Yeah, Red needs to mop up a good few kills to try and spin some advantage out of this. They looks like they're going to be getting a lot of damage, but Mild will be able to take down noemie. Trev will find Mild. It's just Rui in pretty much alone on the point now. Only has May with them, but unfortunately, looks like Rui will go down, and Shellzor will remain alive. Will be able to maintain that big Uber ad, possibly reaching 50 before Rui is able to heal anyone, if I am correct.
Yeah.
And I'm close.
Yeah, the building wasn't fantastic, but yeah, basically 50 ad, which should be more than enough to take second with. Now, standard way of pushing 2 in this kind of situation would probably be through sewer, go wide. Looks like they're peeking choke, actually, which is fine as well. Gotta clear those traps, however, and they're playing this like they want to dry push. Moose is through already. If they're really fast... Ooh, actually trade on the flank as well. Khaltonus, nice, still sack. Things have stalled a little bit. Rui actually now at 80%, so if they keep delaying, then Ubers will even out. However,
Shoulder
the
drops!
Khaltonus bomb. Wow.
Oh my goodness. What a bomb from Khaltonus. I mean, holy moly, holy smokes, jeez Louise. I don't have any other explanations to describe the bomb I just witnessed from Khaltonus. Getting that massive drop onto Shellzor. This is going to pretty much set up Team Khaltonus to get into Team Wiggy's last. Trying to push in is going to be significantly easier. They're already going to be pushing their way into 2. They know.
Sniper, though.
Yeah, I didn't even realize Moose was up on Sniper. They will take down Freya. And
double
it looks
scout
like
IT.
This is interesting. I haven't seen a double
like
scout
this.
rip through IT in a while.
And they do just pop it. This could get a bunch of kills. This could get very few. They get the demo. They're going to be chasing through 2. There is still a sniper here. It's all about shooting the same targets here. 1 scout goes down. May might be next, but at least finds the sniper. At this point, Mild is in heaven. Nice arrow does not actually matter against the 2 rockets. May does die. Notably, Rui popped Uber there as well, so it is disad. You ideally don't want to just trade both your scouts for a demo and a sniper at the cost of your own Uber.
Yeah, Mild tries to go for a garden there. I think he got butter spooned or something. I'm not sure if he landed it, but could have been massive. Khaltonus tries to go, does get nuked for it though, unfortunately, and Rui and Co, the rest of Team Khaltonus, are going to have to leave second here. They're not really going to be able to hold it. They're just going to have to set up on mid, and we're seeing another stalemate, and you know, you got to check your watch. It says sack o'clock. It is time to throw your bodies at the enemy medic and hope you can get them to either turn shiny or explode into 1,000 tiny pieces.
Yeah, notably with Khaltonus dead there was an opportunity for Team Wiggy to go for a counter sack first. Mild just immediate spoon sack in. Oh man, doesn't end up working out. Trev moves it up towards choke. Looks like they want to go for the counter sack. Wiggy actually attempted it but failed a ramp slide, so Trev will be the one to commit. A lot of the time, when Trev actually doesn't like what he sees, just gets out of there, knows it's not going to be good. So it looks like no one will die. You can see a lot of the time these soldier roles are a little interchangeable. The main idea is you want a soldier counter sacking, so if one of your soldiers kind of beefs their bomb and can't do it, then sure, just send the other.
Exactly. I mean, you can kind of, move around your soldiers as needed. I do want to point out, though, Mild playing the handsome man, looking to sneak in behind enemy lines, slowly crouching their way through grass here, has not been spotted. I don't think Team Wiggy is anticipating a spy here, has made his way into lobby, looking to find something by decloaking or actually just walking out through one. Waiting for the pressure, going now. No one knows he's behind. He's going for the beam. He still hasn't been spotted. He gets the backstab onto Shelzer and cloaks away as if nothing ever happened. Hasn't been spotted, going out to roll out. Rui with a massive ad here. It's all up to the rest of the combo to determine how they want to take this into second.
Yeah, I really like the fact that the blue team still sent a normal sack as if they didn't have the off class. Because while, yes, you're opening yourself up to more counter-aggression being successful, because you're kind of just down that player on the off-class, the other teams is just so much less likely to expect a spy play when, nothing seems out of the ordinary.
Yeah, it seems like Team Khaltonus here, they have a lot of space on last already, and they know they have that Uber ad. They're actually they're going to be losing Khaltonus and AT here, though. Wiggy will go down. It looks like their health is a little bit worse for wear on the side of Khaltonus, and they're going to have to leave. It's just May and Mild alive in heaven, but I think they know he's up here. I think they've had enough of his shenanigans. Yeah. Wait a minute. Trev shot him with a rocket but didn't see him light up. I think they think he left.
They surely know they're gonna leave a guy on last. Like this spy can't do anything, I don't think.
Yeah, Wiggy's still up on last here.
And this is where spy's more of a liability. Ooh, keep your eyes actually on AT here, who's about to take this sniper peek sewer. This is yep. That's like the peak you have to worry about on 2 when you're pushing out against potential spawners. Because they don't have to be sitting in the forward spawn. Oh,
no
nice
way.
Close range shot. And now Mild might actually do something on Spy. Nope, never mind. Can I get gunned down?
Unfortunate. I mean, there's only so much he can do as the handsome man there. And, while AT was able to give his team that Uber ad, I feel like we're going to see a similar situation, at least for the time being, where they kind of just have to relax for a moment. They can't really get into 2 because they're on player disad for the time being. Looks like they have Wiggy pretty close in choke, who's going to be spotting forward for some info. And actually looks like the combo of Wiggy is going to be playing a little bit more aggressive than I think they should
they're
be
just
here.
To an Uber.
Yeah, if they decide to rip it through on Khaltonus, they're going to get caught. Uh-oh.
Yep, and there's Freya. Shelzer was completely caught. Will be going down.
Oh my goodness, no
way dies as well. So, honestly, that's all you need. There might be picks in lobby here. Moose is playing to stop second, which is kind of the main way to avoid losing the round here. Does get spotted, though, and some nice rockets from Mild do clean up that kill. And, yeah, the combo is just going to be going forward. Trev is trying to stop 2 and successfully does so. So we can see what Moose was attempting here. Now it no longer matters how many kills that May and Freya can get on last, because the players who were capping 2 got picked off, means the combo needs to now go back and do that. So nice salvage play there from Moose and Trev in order to stop what was probably just an impending round loss to now be at least a chance at holding Uber Dizet on last.
Absolutely, and those maybe just tuning in, this is the Newbie Cup 10 show match. So you've got the coaches for some of these newbie teams and some TF2CC staff members duking it out. This is a cast for, some of those people who are playing in the Newbie Cup to kind of get a good look at what some of the games and some of the maps they'll end up playing will look and potentially be like in their own games. Looking at it right now, though, looks like with Mild dead, we may end up seeing another off-class moment. We have seen him up on the Handsome Man quite a bit, so could potentially see something like that. Yep, and Soul Read, Mild is up on the Handsome Man, but nice kill from Khaltonus, going to be able to get Wiggy there, so this may lower the suspicion that having Mild up on Spy just a little bit.
Yeah, notably, Ubers actually did even out here, despite the fact that it should have been a round 40 ad for Blue. They used an Uber and caught the other team's med with it. It's kind of a rule of thumb. No Way is on Pyro. He was off-class checking earlier, so I'm assuming he did the same. I wasn't paying the closest attention. But nonetheless, I mean, Mild has been playing Spy so frequently. Ooh, and we actually see the sap here, but it's a little delayed. So this is a strat that actually going for more does go down to the gun, and that's 3. That is a strat you'll see sometimes, because a lot of these last holds are really dependent on the sentry gun, and when you take that out of the equation with the sapper, then a soldier bomb becomes much more lethal, but the coordination wasn't exactly there, and Blue's going to lose second here.
Yeah, Blue will not be able to hold on to this. Not in their wild street, but the glow stick from Moose onto Rui is going to be able to drop Blue's medic. They're not going to be able to hold on to... Wait a minute, Shellstorm drops 2! There's a back coming in from Mild! He doesn't quite manage to get Wiggy off the point in time, but... Oh my god. Wait a minute, AT's up on... Oh no, AT's I think is just off-class checking. Well, no, he's in. They're committed.
Double Spy commit.
What the? Now, this is not something you see in any match. I don't think I've seen this in any division. Oh, AT, don't do it.
So if AT dies here, then...
He got bumped! Oh,
okay,
no.
this is not great, though, because you know that Mild is on Spy, but if AT dies, then you're going to be like, oh, wait, there's still a Spy. But if Mild dies, then it's like, okay, we got the Spy. AT is committing and going down. And Mild's still on Spy in lower lobby. And yeah, it looks like Red is still mostly Spy paranoid. Because you'd have to pay attention to the name in the kill feed and recognize that no, Mild was also on Spy. It kind of seems like they've forgotten, I'm not going to lie. Oh, Uber getting popped, though. Oh, and Mild is waiting.
He's into the doorway, he finds Moose!
Yep. Wow.
Goodness, that looked like the most face stab of the century. Wiggy gonna go down too. Freya dying, but it doesn't matter as May trades out with Trev. It looks like Team Khaltonus is gonna be able to cap 2 and potentially steamroll their way into the last if they just build this Uber out effectively. Oh my goodness gracious. Mild, this man needs to be stopped. Someone needs to stop him immediately.
Yeah, I forgot it was Disad as well. I mean, it's really easy to not pay attention to the state of Ubers when you just have like 2 spies running around the back lines with like circus music playing. But that was a huge play, setting up for where the other team is gonna leave, so they just walk into you. And that's gonna secure ad. Looks like about 40 ad. Ooh, and they're gonna take it through 1 potentially? Yeah, they are.
I mean, yeah, this is a good doorway to just rip it through if you're trying to go fast. You don't want to have to worry about a bomb getting denied by a sentry. They are going to be able to take down Wiggy. The sticks are cleared off the point, but that sentry gun is a big point of contention. They do take it down outside of the Uber. Does look like No Way getting some good contest from the height. Looks like we're going to see a big bomb coming in from Khaltonus. If Khaltonus does go down, Moose will die. Here it is, just Trev on top of the point, and that's going to be the round ended for Khaltonus as they wrap up this game in overtime, 5-2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, just good last push there. I don't know anything else to mention. Just getting the early kill is obviously something you want. The gun is an issue that you usually like to take out during your Uber rather than after, but as long as the flank aren't just running at it and dying, then you generally have plenty of time, as we saw the spam from just a soldier peeking as well as the demo. Took it out pretty easily. Yeah, that was process, and we're moving on now to Bagel, which is not only a very different map, but an entirely different game mode from 5CP, and has not only different gameplay, but different objectives as well.
Absolutely. And in the kind of fundamentals of the game changing when you move on to Koth, it definitely becomes more deathmatch focused. But before we dive too deep into the prospects of Koth, I do want to take a look at the logs. I know it's a show match, but there's still some things that we can see from here. And topping the DPM charts is going to be Mild at 39.3 and 31 with 292 DPM, going super damage positive with only 189 damage taken a minute, and all those backstabs as well, just getting so much value as the spy there. I mean, he was putting in work, to say the absolute least.
Yeah, and actually AT with top frag in the server was quite well on Scout. Notably as well, between the two medics, there were a total of 10 drops, which is definitely a lot. Probably something that if any of you are playing in your Newbie Cup matches, hopefully you can use more often and avoid some of those. But yeah, it definitely makes things exciting.
Yeah, hopefully you guys, if you're playing in that Newbie Cup, you got to remember the old adage, pop it, don't drop it. Sometimes you can't, avoid the drop, but if you can, just hit the right click button. It's always better. You might turn that force into a crazy turnaround. You never know. So always try and pop it if possible, but the logs out of the way, we are, as you mentioned, moving into Koth, which is, different map, different game mode entirely, and the fundamentals of which change, which I think you could probably explain a lot better than I could.
Maybe. I mean, as you mentioned, it's very DM oriented because there is just one point that you're fighting over, and at its core, Bagel, well, Koth in general, is all about the point, right? When you have the point, you want to hold it, and when you don't have the point, clock's ticking, and you want to cap it. Bagel is unique compared to other Koths in that you have a house on each side, so being able to control those houses means it's going to be a lot easier for you to control the points. So you have kind of three separate zones of interest, I suppose, as far as how you want to strategize and play the map. But yeah, I mean, all the same advantages and disadvantages exist. Uber ad, player ad, things like that all matter still. But notably, with Bagel and Koth in general, having very fast spawns means that it tends to play quickly. Something like a team wipe, while it might just outright win you around on 5CP, might only win you 30 seconds, 40 seconds, something like that on Koth. And you definitely need to be consistently stronger than your team to win rounds rather than just have kind of a moment of glory at the right time.
Absolutely. Koth is definitely, while you can have an entire round, converted off of momentum in 5CP, in Koth it is, like you said, it is vastly different. Winning a team fight can really only net you about 30, 40 seconds. It's very important that you maintain that pressure. It's very important that you get your bases down. Really, I mean, you can't afford to let things slip through the cracks, and there's always something that slips through. No matter how hard you try, there's something that slips through at any given moment. Every hold eventually collapses. Maybe you lose a guy in some weird 1v1 where there's some guy just hiding behind or something. But Koth is definitely, once you get past the initial, fighting for the point stage of the map, edging the point into one team's hands or the other, it becomes a lot more of, how well can we hold this? How well can we bust out? But, channel point predictions are live. Again, if you have the points to Gamba, I recommend you do. Get it twisted. You will profit. Channel points by gambling.
Yeah, another thing worth mentioning about Bagel as well compared to the other Koths is not only just the interesting geometry with those kind of isolated houses, But the point itself actually caps faster in Bagel than really any other Koth map that gets played in sixes, which I think is actually a huge positive for the map, because a lot of the time, I mean, it's all about converting the cap, right? When you don't have the point, you want to be converting it. And in fact, especially in for much newer players, fights that seem kind of positive but are like pretty chaotic, both teams just losing players, multiple spawn waves in a row, it's just a lot of fighting. It's very much a Pyrrhic victory for the team without point, because that whole time the clock's ticking against your favor. And being able to cap the point faster, I think, makes the map very dynamic, because something very simple like just one kill tends to matter more. And as you get really good at the map and really good at the game in general, even very, very minor advantages, such as your demo just dealing a lot of damage to the other demo, is sometimes enough to convert the point. And things like that are very fleeting, very temporary. But because the point caps quickly, you can reliably affect sort of the momentum just off of capitalizing on small things like that.
Absolutely. I mean, Koth is, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, it is, their momentum plays a big part in it, but you have to be able to maintain it. So I think what you mentioned about getting these small things and having it add up it definitely is a big part of what separates Koth from sixes, because not in sixes, from 5CP, I'm trying to think of a way to describe it, but English is rather difficult at the moment for some reason. Native language, still can't speak it very well. But it seems like Koth is definitely, what separates it from 5CP is just the fact that getting those little individual things will add up a lot more than it would in 5CP. I don't know why I can't figure out a way to describe this. Jeepers cripes.
Yeah, and rounds can go many different ways, because, I mean, losing a round in 5CP is usually, and this is simplifying things, of course, but it's usually you lose last because it's uber disad, or you lose a fight so confidently on mid or your own second that the other team is just taking a good fight into last before you even spawn. Whereas Koth, there's like many different ways to win. Obviously, you know, once it hits overtime, like your clock hits zero is how you win. But you can win a boring round of Koth where you're just good at holding the point and better at holding the point than the other team is, or you're just good at recapping the point. And over the course of, you know, a 5-minute round, if you're recapping on average 10 seconds earlier than the other team would on just your average fight or something like that, all other things equal, you're going to win long term. So being able to both play aggressively when you need to and keep that clock in mind, while also not biting off more than you need to chew, and being willing to just let your own clock tick down.
Absolutely. And we are kind of just waiting for these teams to hit the Ruppington button here. You know, I think they've had 6 in the server for a little bit, so it's kind of just up to them now, up to their discretion really on when they're ready. We do have one team, I believe this is Team Khaltonus, hitting the Rupp button. They're ready to go. They're ready to get this, you know, this boxing match on here. I'm feeling pretty excited about Koth. I love casting Koth as well, because it's very fast-paced, but it has those moments where it can very much slow down. You can see these pretty long forward holds where, you know, a lot of mistakes are made. There's a lot of analysis that can happen there as well. So I think it really highlights the dynamics that can happen. But we are live with the second map, the final map of this show match between Khaltonus and Wiggy. Koth Bagel. Looking at these demos right off the mid, want to see how much damage they can get before any real fight starts.
So the point is not quite cappable yet, so all this preliminary fighting is still useful. I mean, Rui and Shelzor are actually both eating a bunch of spam. Rui does get a pack and gets healthy, Shelzor does not. However, Khaltonus, House gets shoved, and loses the 2v1. So now with that pick, we might expect a bunch more aggression from the red team. AT, though, from the point, able to collect a kill in the left house. Just quite nice. Does not get traded out, but still nonetheless, with that fast point cap, we do see red start off the point, and AT with a lot of space here off of what is now player advantage for blue, might just cap it right back.
Yeah, I think, and this is what we were talking about a little bit earlier, where these tiny things can add up. Even just having a one-player advantage in Koth can mean the world. It does look like the Uber is going to get popped from the side of Team Wiggy, and the counter will come out from Khaltonus. It's looking a lot better for Khaltonus as they're able to take down Moose. Doesn't look like the point has flopped just yet, and now it will. They do deny May off of it, but I don't think that was intentional. Something to point out while the fight fades as noemie tries to go in, will get AT. Does get cleaned up by Mild. Is that the spawns in the hill work a little bit differently. If you own the point, your spawns are significantly longer than the team that does not possess it. So denying your players is something you have to look forward to, because if you're already dead and you're in that respawn queue, your team capping that point will extend your spawn time. So playing around the cap is also extremely important in that regard.
So Mild died earlier going for a play behind, and now Khaltonus dying means it's pretty difficult for red to get the point. And actually, through left house, Trev gets in onto Rui. The follow-up from noemie is going to confirm a kill on AT. Is Rui caught? Yes, will be caught in the doorway. And notably there, the building was not great, in fact. Considering the fact that that Uber exchange on point earlier converted into basically a full wipe, and notably a kill on Shellzor, you'd expect it to be at least like 30-some ad, but it in fact was less. Rui might have been able to have Uber there to save themselves, but nonetheless, we are seeing what is pretty much a forward hold. So on Koth, you can... Ooh, actually, we're seeing a shove behind instead.
Yeah, this is maybe this is a little bit different than what I had imagined would happen, but it looks like Wiggy wants to just get in their face. They're going to be able to take down Rui in that shove as well. Does look like AT and Mild also going to be going down. It's just May alive, trying to get the pick onto Trev. Will be successful, and almost but not quite gets taken, or almost but not quite gets away, is taken down by Moose, and it looks like... it does look like Khaltonus wants to push out off of this. Good damage coming out onto Shellzor, but unfortunately no one's really able to mop it up. Mild bombing in, actually, as soon as I say that, is able to take down Shellzor. Freya going to be able to take down Moose as well, so 2 players down on the side of Team Wiggy. This is a very good window for players to jump in. Austin bombing forward, getting a good bit of damage, but no one's really able to mop up on it as noemie tries to go in, but does get cleaned up by Khaltonus.
Yeah, so we did see... and actually, Wiggy might be still caught here. We did see there with the demo bombing in, basically everyone on red just bombing in, trying to get a kill onto Rui. Colloquially referred to as a 4-man, which is an interesting Koth-only strategy. Because, of course, when it's Uber disadvantage, you kind of have 2 options. You take the fight normally, which is ill-advised, since the other team has Uber and you don't. You can wait to build, which, again, you don't really like waiting when the other team has the point. Or you do a 4-man, and we're actually seeing another 4-man here. What's happening here? Shellzor, totally safe, just building that Uber. So you are still building and waiting to build. But in the meantime, I mean, what does it matter if everyone else just dies while you're building? You might get a force. So instead of waiting and building and having it be even Ubers now, instead the red team waited and built and 4-manned, and it's instead ad.
Yeah, like you said, it is going to be ad for Team Wiggy here. They're looking to get out onto concrete. They're going to be able to take down Mild very early on, so that gives them a little bit more room to try and milk this and just walk onto the point. Shellzor eats a pipe, though, so this is going to make their window of being able to milk very low. A lot of Hail Mary pipes coming in from the blue demo, from Freya, trying to take down Shellzor, but none of them do land. They don't know about the trap on the silo, though. Ooh. They do det, but it's not, no one's close enough for it to matter. Based on a 6 kill streak here, so they're able to take down Austin. Mild going to be able to take down Wiggy as well. Uber exchange happening on the point. It is Team Khaltonus chasing very hard down into lower. Moose will win the fight with Freya, but will get shredded out by May, giving them a 7 kill streak, and looks like Team Khaltonus is going to be holding on to this point for a little bit longer.
Yeah, and AT got the med pick on the chase there as well, which is really the only important kill. I mean, obviously any kills are nice, but if Moose got back to spawn versus died, really doesn't make a difference because spawns are just so fast. The only thing that really matters is the Uber percents, and the fact that Rui now has slim ad as opposed to dead evens is really important.
Wiggy on the Rui! They run up the stickies!
The double bomb just gets the med.
Oh my goodness. I mean, that's just not a situation you want to see yourself in. Unfortunately, they were caught between a rock and a hard place, so Rui was caught between a bombing soldier, another bombing soldier, and stickies on the stairs in front of them, so there really wasn't anywhere they can go. Thankfully, the Team Khaltonus does not deny their beam, so Rui will be able to spawn up in a fashionable time, but with the time being what it is, and with Team Wiggy having full Uber ad, it looks like this may turn into a Team Wiggy dubski, but time will tell. It ain't over till the fat lady sings. The Uber does come out from the side of Team Wiggy. They are chasing very hard, not quite able to get anyone just yet, but Khaltonus and Freya going down inside of lobby. They're looking to cap the point here, and they are almost successful. It does look like Mild going to drop down from the point, but not before he gets No Way. Austin dying as well. May trying to go in, not going to be able to get that point though. Rui, the last man standing, is not going to be able to get in time though, and the first round will go into the hands of Team Wiggy.
Double overtime as well, and I mean, we just saw there how important the Uber was in those last moments of the round. The post-fight could have gone well for Team Khaltonus. I mean, we had AT and Mild both behind, ready for a collapse, but the collapse just did not convert into enough kills, so just with the number advantage in that final overtime fight, Red did take it.
Absolutely, and I think this time around, Khaltonus knows what they want to do. They've got things on lock, potentially. Maybe they're anticipating this next house shove. Big air shot attempt coming in from Khaltonus is not going to hit it, but with the help of May, we'll be able to mop up Trev. Does look like May will lose this fight with No Way inside of Blue House. That's going to be a 2K for No Way, and that's going to be a 3K in general for the side of Team Wiggy. That's going to force Team Khaltonus to back out all the way. Some of these players are playing a little bit too aggressively for my taste. You know, you're playing a dangerous game here, being this deep into lobby, especially when your beam doesn't yet have Uber, is at like that 95% mark. A drop is still entirely possible. Khaltonus will die as they try to push out onto concrete to help the rest of their team, and the shiny players do start existing on the side of Team Wiggy. It's a significantly better Uber for the side of Team Khaltonus, though. They're going to be trying to send in players, but they're not quite able to do anything here.
Yeah, and that was actually a forward hold where the entirety of the red team just playing very forwardly, as you would expect, and trying to hold the doors themselves, which can be really nasty on Bagel, and it's just a way to just burn even more time when you win a fight very decisively. However, then this counter aggression, Moose actually getting caught on point to a combination of the point pressure and the house pressure. Shellzor caught on the way out as well. This is now a horrible situation for the red team. No Way taking a 1v1. Both scouts hitting nice shots though, so both will just retreat. But with Shellzor caught on the back end of things there, it's now going to be plenty of ad for Rui, and based on what we were seeing earlier, not only are we seeing a forward hold here of sorts from the blue team, a little passively, but we might expect a 4-man from the red team.
Yeah, this is about that time where you see the 4-man, or as I like to call it, the George Foreman, come out. They do send in Trev, and I believe that is Austin. They don't quite get the force. Rui is on 60 HP, so if someone were able to get in now, this would be the most opportune time. They are going to try and have No Way go in from Fan, but he's going to eat a pipe, and they will get taken down there by Mild and May. It doesn't look like this Foreman is going to be good for Team Wiggy, but at the bare minimum, their beam was able to build out the rest of the Uber.
Yep. A bit of a late death there from No Way as well. Ideally, your 4-man, you all just die at the same time. Not only because you can overwhelm when you go at the same time. Mild actually on the flank here. And we might be seeing an exchange. But you want to refight as soon as possible to recap the point as soon as possible. And you can really only go as fast as your latest spawner, right? But anyway, in this post-fight, it is down 1 player for the blue team, and actually some house aggression from No Way and Trev going to be bombing in, getting a kill on AT. So much space is more than enough to cap the point and chase into lobby. Both these players very weak, including Rui. However, they are going to hold off, and with these soldier kills, now refight for the point.
Yeah, it looks like Team Khaltonus, they want to try and get in as quickly as possible. They don't want to, squander this player ad. They want to try and, get in quickly. You can't really mess around with player ad on Koth, but it looks like they were a little too slow. They finally get in. They're able to get No way down mild and AT in Red House. Does look like they're going to be forced out, though, as May is thrown over to the point. Will survive by some stroke of luck. Doesn't look like the soldier is going to be able to mop up that kill. And yeah, for Team Wiggy here, Ubers are even, so we are probably going to see some kind of exchange over the point, as Shelzor is very, very low, has to back out into lobby.
Yeah, Moose very weak as well. So it's very rare, actually, in Koth for teams to have Uber for very long. Ooh, Trev actually going down in a 1v1 in-house. No way trying to maybe clean up, but it's getting dealt with. The reason you don't see Ubers being held for particularly long is for moments like this, as we see the exchange come out from AT. Ooh, and they might get the kill on the demo as well. Nicely done here, down 3 for Red. Much better Uber for them. But for this defending team, that Uber is just a really strong defensive option, because while it's less pronounced on Bagel, you still have to put in work to cap the point, and sometimes that requires multiple things going well in a row. And if the team with point can just use Uber and stop any momentum you had in capping the point, that's not really nice. And oftentimes you want to get Ubers out of the way so they no longer have that option.
Yeah, the Ubers out of the equation is really important on a map like Bagel, especially with how narrow the point is. Rui will go down. House spam, very powerful house spam coming in from, I believe that was Trev finding the pick. It does look like Team Wiggy will be able to get the point cap, potentially, as long as they don't forget about it. And there they go. Mild tries to go in, but does die for it, unfortunately. But shouldn't be the end of the world. He's not too far separated from the rest of his team in terms of spawns.
This round this went from very comfortably in Blue's favor to now a little jeopardized, because it is full disad. We might see a 4-man. They have time for it, but I'm surprised that fight went so poorly for Team Khaltonus, because considering it's overtime, when we see this same aggressive Uber being taken in, as long as Rui lives, that's the only thing that matters. Rui is on the retreat, getting bombed by Wiggy, and will get cleaned up by Moose. Unfortunate there. However, if Blue caps because of the overtime,
Wait a minute!
Wow. As I was saying earlier, overtime is really, really, really strong. And in the case of the fight taken earlier that Blue wiped on, if you just play really passively to spam out that point, just strong positioning, you know the other team, beyond a reasonable doubt, has to stand on the point. There is no exceptions. And in a case like that, yes, the Uber can be fantastic, but if it comes at the cost of losing the point for even a second, then you just lose.
Yeah, I think Wiggy was just too focused on trying to kill the players that were in front of them. They completely forgot that the time was as close as it was. A little bit of a, some may say a C9 happened there, but hopefully Wiggy will be able to learn from that. Remember a little bit more. Mild going to be going in, is able to take down Shells, or Freya going to be able to land the extra pipe onto Moose, giving that 2k, now 3k, but Rui dies as Wiggy goes in deep. It's going to be Austin trying to bomb forward, but isn't quite able to find anything. May going to be able to clean them up, and no way as well. Trev caught on Redwood, going to have to leave through lower. May end up dying as he has 2 scouts right in his face. May going to get a 4k on that mid. Getting Trev down there as well is going to slow down the push of Team Wiggy a sizable amount. So that gives them some extra time to tick off the cap.
Yeah, and that's just a decent example of as well of the very DM-oriented fighting in Koth, because that really, both meds just dying to soldier bombs, it really came down to which team is hitting their shots more in order to get the point. And as we see, a full minute off the clock, which is really nothing to scoff at. Shelzor going quite low, needs to go get a pack. Rui eating some spam as well is going to do the same. And actually, point is just going to flip without contest.
Mild is in, tries to go for a bomb. Is it going to be able to get anything? I think this is maybe some kind of sack attempt. They do manage to find Shelzor. May collecting that 5th kill on the beam as a successful 4-man, and that is going to net Team Khaltonus a significant amount of Uber ad. They're probably just going to walk out. I think they're wanting to milk this for as long as possible. It looks like Wiggy and their scout partner here, Moose, playing a little bit of a dangerous game, playing this close to a team with full Uber, but I think Team Khaltonus is going to be rotating down to lower right, looking to push through. They're going to be getting into house, potentially. No, they managed to, or they're deciding to commit to Valley here. Mild dying, though, is going to make this Uber a little bit more questionable.
Yeah, Trev is now behind, getting fought by May. Scout might be winning this. Is going to be able to dance around the rockets well enough. Sack in from Wiggy does get the drop onto Rui. Wow, and now No Way, who was committed, trying to just get something before going down, but May will put him down. Wow, crazy bomb there from Wiggy, able to secure that drop, which is exactly what Team Wiggy needed here. Obviously, numbers are roughly even, or the time is roughly even, but obviously momentum is a little bit in Blue's favor. Oh my god. God.
As soon as Freya switches to the dark side, picks up a lock and load off the ground, Mild gets in, gets a massive drop. That's going to be pretty huge for Team Khaltonus here, as Rui is very low, though I don't think they know about Trev going in from behind, landing in, getting 2 nice rockets, is going to be able to get the double kill onto Rui, and a T now triple as he gets Khaltonus. May, barely able to get in from behind, is able to take down Trev, but oh my goodness, if it's not the most nuclear bomb I have ever laid eyes on.
Yeah, Mild actually very forward here. Unlucky timing does get cleaned up. And as I mentioned earlier, Freya probably going to die. Nope, May here to bail out Freya. As I mentioned earlier, you have a lot of that back and forth fighting that does just favor a team. In this case, Red does finally cap, but the Mets just dropping back and forth strictly favored Team Khaltonus because they turned what was an even clock into 30 seconds advantage. As we do have Mild bombing in. Rui very low. Everyone on blue very, very weak. They are definitely going to need to re-heal.
Mild gets lost.
Yeah. Moose is going to chase, secure that kill. And now the ad could come into play.
Yeah, the ad could potentially be a part of this fight equation here. Shelter takes a lot of damage. They're going to rip it in fast. It does look like Rui, though, has enough space between them and the Uber to actually get out, and they're going to immediately try and walk forward. Rui here with that Uber. She's probably going to pop through this doorway here, and yes, she will. They are going to be walking forward as a unit here. Both scouts and a soldier. They're flashing 3, so the Uber will end relatively quick, but they have a lot of bodies on that point. They have a lot of picks on the side of Team Wiggy. Wiggy actually taking themselves down. Trev now dying as well as Moose. So almost a team wipe, and AT catching Austin in the air. That'll be a slightly later death for Team Wiggy. This will probably give Khaltonus their 2nd round.
Yes, especially dealing with the forward hold as well. Off of the back of that very confident fight. Moose just running it through the door, however. That is not usually how you see a forward hold get broken. Trev does die, but Freya's going to be caught here. Multiple kills just off of nothing but holding.
Shelter dies!
Oh, that's a big deal. Because blue team really don't need to worry about whether the point gets capped here. AT is worried about it. I don't like this play because, again, if they just wait for spawners and use this Uber, they're guaranteed to win anyway. But now you're just taking a fight down numbers. Yeah, and Rui's going to get cleaned up here. Everyone's dying on point. It's not over for blue. In fact, it's not looking too horrible, but it's definitely kind of coin flipping the fight in a way.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
Wait a minute.
It's a 1v1 now.
I say wait a minute, but, well, I think Mild is probably going to win this fight with Wiggy here.
Trev on the way, but won't make it in time. But that was scary. I mean, a guaranteed round win off of just an Uber with your entire team versus kind of coin flipping it on Mild winning a 1v1. If there's anyone in the server that you can trust to win a 1v1, it is Mild, but still.
Yeah. I mean, you can't put all your eggs in one basket there. As many 1v1s as we've seen Mild win, you can't, anticipate that they'll win every single 1v1 matchup they take. You know, everybody loses sometimes, but it looks like here with Khaltonus in the lead in terms of rounds, they want to keep that momentum going. They've got the round advantage on their side. It does look like Mild and May going to be going down very early in this fight, though. Rui is very weak. One good pipe could take him down, and that's a good bomb from Trev. Able to take down Rui. She's going to see the respawn clock for a good while.
AT is in right house here, but the red team is well aware. Austin actually just trying to like secure that kill somehow. It's a nice sticky, and now AT should get dealt with by Wiggy. Yes, almost wins that fight, but still nonetheless. But that mid was one off of really good house action, just shoves from the red team securing kills, taking advantageous fights. Forward hold is going to be busted pretty much here. Khaltonus on the back lines getting fought by noemie might neutralize the player advantage. Freya going to be bombing in. Demo bombing in basically signals this is a 4-man. Even though it ended up just being the single sack, it effectively says we are going to be doing a sack wave. Some of our guys have been dying, so we're just going to make sure that everyone dies and does get the force.
Yeah, I mean, Freya literally got in Shelzor's face and just, I think they just got hit with a pipe, really. I mean, they went down to like 5 health or something when they used, so I'm surprised they were even able to survive that much damage coming their way in the first place. We do have Khaltonus, the players in lobby.
I mean, we've seen Moose and Shelzor have been big fans of this kind of shove into lobby, although in this case they didn't have Uber, and it wasn't even ad. So this is basically what you'd expect to happen of the team that got through on the other side now turns around and uses Uber to kill your entire combo. Notably, however, Rui went down, which is the important kill. Freya dying is not great, and Freya getting denied is extra not great, but it mostly translates to your demo doesn't have good traps up, because in all likelihood Freya's gonna be showing up by the time anything really important happens, but Rui dying is a huge deal because that has implications for Uber. It's now evens instead of ad.
Yeah, it's yeah, I mean, it's not too terrible for the side of Team Khaltonus, but now that they've lost so many players, they've lost AT, they've lost Mild, they lost Khaltonus, they've got to get out of dodge. Trev does die to the hands of May, and Rui does survive with hardly any HP, left in their bar. But they do manage to live, and that's the important part. Ubers will remain even for the time being. It doesn't look like Team Wiggy is going to be able to get any form of ads, so I think Team Khaltonus, they just want to shove out before things get too bad for them, and that's exactly what they're going to do here. They've got themselves some positioning on they got themselves some positioning on concrete. Shiny players do come out from the side of Team Wiggy, but it's looking like this is going to be a very, very poor Uber, as they pretty much only get one pick for it.
I think Wiggy has a timing here. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Yeah, he does.
Oh, but this is the rocket. Yeah, Rui was completely unaware, as was everyone else. noemie is committed and just going to go for it, so kind of a two-man there from the red team. And we are seeing Freya set up some forward hold traps. Khaltonus is rolling out. You like to have all your spam for a true forward hold, and being down a soldier for the time being means that they're going to be a little more passive on the doors, but now that Khaltonus is here, is getting that full tankage, it is a proper forward hold. And again, can be difficult to break. noemie tries to get through on the left side, but gets dealt with. And this is something you do see on occasion, is this aggressive Uber against teams that are getting a little too cute. And they actually force Shelzor as well. And not only that, but Moose reveals it. I don't know if Blue knew otherwise that Uber got forced. They are going to get 4 kills, but you can effectively consider this a 4-man if you're on Blue. And while you'll take it, it's not super wonderful, only because look at the clock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's not going to be great for them if they try and take this. This clock is definitely in the favor of Team Wiggy here. I think if Team Khaltonus... Whoa, no! Rui Craters!
Oh, man.
Oh, no!
Yeah, that's just the round.
Khaltonus. There's nothing they can do here now.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw things like this kind of happening this whole round, where you can afford to lose fights. You can afford to lose players on a forward hold. You can afford to take an Uber that doesn't work out and lose guys and lose the point. But when your opponent has a minute left, 30 seconds left, things like that, these mistakes are much more costly and actually have implications for the round itself. So being able to, early into the round, get a nice cushion for the clock and a nice time advantage there just makes everything easier down the line.
Yeah, it is going to make things significantly easier for for them. But going into this next mid here, it does look like Khaltonus has a little bit more space created on this mid. They've got some good cap time. Looks like Moose and Austin trying to play forward, but wow. Shelzor is going to pay the iron price and will get taken down. Freya coming in with the steel chair. Now, yeah, the 4-man coming in.
That was a nice rocket, but there just wasn't good damage on Rui before that to follow up on full white from red. And this will be yet another forward hold. Now, contrary to what we've been seeing, forward hold on Bagel is one of the strongest of any Koth and can be really brutal to deal with. But honestly, Team Wiggy have done a really great job of getting through. We do see now noemie just kind of getting through, traps unable to get too much, but the pipes, however, do get that kill, and Mayor, oh wow, and turns into a 4-man, okay. Kind of crazy there, both sides of the map just getting completely shoved.
Yeah, Khaltonus is, I think they've kind of found their footing here. That I don't want to say they looked shaky for the first two, because they really didn't, but for lack of a better term, they looked a little shaky for those first couple rounds, especially that last one. I don't think they were able to get as aggressive as they had liked to. They are going to be popping in to the face of Team Wiggy here. It does look like Khaltonus is going to be able to trade out with the namesake. Moose will kill Freya earlier on in that fight. AT almost dies, but looks like Khaltonus is going to be able to find no way. Will trade out with Moose there. But it seems that Khaltonus is able to maintain control of the point, at least for the time being. With Freya dead, I'm surprised they're actually able to... I think Team Wiggy is being a little too fearful, but a big bomb comes in from Mild. Wow. They're able to find Shelzor and Moose, and now AT! Oh my
goodness. On sellout mode, trying to get onto Rui, as is Wiggy. Yeah, that fight there, I mean, down a demo, again, just Koth DM shenanigans. We have a team without a demo against a team with only one scout. So, you know, call it however you want, but it was a successful fight from the blue team, and Rui having Uber here, very nice, as well as full 2-minute advantage. This is some of that chaos fighting that we're seeing, trades back and forth, that really is just favoring Team Khaltonus, because again, their clock is ticking, and they actually do spring the Uber, catch Shelzor, can't lose track of Ubers and Koth. It's very easy to with all the back and forth fighting, but getting that kill is super huge.
Yeah, this is a very, very big... very big swing in the momentum for, well, I don't want to say swing in the momentum, because the momentum hasn't really swung to the side of Team Wiggy, but it looked like they had a fighting chance there. It looked like they had an opportunity to try and get out and make something happen, but with not being able to break out of this forward hold once at least. Yeah, Rui is pretty low here, though, so that might change, but they are able to get away. AT getting the 3-rune blade kill. A lot of the players on Team Wiggy are very, very weak here. Wiggy is going to bomb forward, is going to land on the point, but will get taken down by AT. Freya getting the Hafsat kill onto Shelzor.
Oh, wow.
So there's pretty much only one man left. It's going to be Mild getting the spoon onto Trev. And that'll be a 3-2, and everybody's dropping GGs in the chat.
Yeah, this is going to be first to 3, not...
Oh.
Yes, they are choosing to play first to 3. Did Mild jump off of the other soldier's rocket there for that spoon? Because that is always so disrespectful. Even if that fight didn't go so well, as long as Rui lives, again, like, the name of the game in Koth a lot of the time is the life of the medic being sort of paramount. Because with that nice Uber play catching Shelzor, as long as Rui lives with 40 seconds left on your own clock, it's going to be really tight for the other team to get Uber by the time it hits overtime, and in all likelihood they won't. Meaning, if you have an Uber and you have overtime and the other team doesn't, you just win, as long as you don't catastrophically beef.
Exactly, and I mean, Rui living there kind of snuffed out any hopes, I think, of Team Wiggy being able to push out, because as soon as they realized it wasn't going the way they wanted, they knew they couldn't focus any more time on trying to take down Rui. They just had to get bodies on the point and find themselves some kind of window to get in. And unfortunately, they weren't able to find that window. So they paid the price for it. They lost that round with 3 minutes left on their own timer. But they still performed well nonetheless. I mean, getting it 3-2 there is still pretty commendable. And I think we have the logs here.
Let us take a gander. So Koth, of course, being much more fighting, much more often, you tend to see much higher damage numbers. And it's not rare necessarily to see 400, although it's definitely still noteworthy, and the only one to do so in this server is Mild, who was actually putting on... We kind of breezed over Mild in the pregame. Mild is an advanced player, so on average higher placing than most other players here, but was definitely pulling his weight and doing quite well from Soldier.
Yeah, I mean, all the nukes and all the bombs we saw from him. I think something, and I've said this before, I feel like I've been seeing a lot more roamers kind of just throw themselves in. They're not afraid to commit. I see a lot of roamer players that are just afraid to jump in because they think they may die. Mild is not afraid of that. He's going in and he's just saying, you know what? If I die, I die. If I don't, I make it huge. And I mean, his DPM, his KD is saying that entire thing, going over 100 damage positive again on Roamer as well. 408 DPM with 284 DTM. I mean, that stat line is just kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm. What else? I mean, as far as team stats are concerned, blue team is getting, I would say, significantly more damage, with 47,000 to 41 across the entire team, but very significantly many more kills, with almost 50% more kills total, which is nice. I mean, being able to convert your damage into actual picks is what matters the most, because, well, yes, it's nice just getting damage for its own sake, as far as getting space and applying pressure to the other team is concerned. You get far more space by killing a player than you do by just forcing them to back up and get an arrow or get a pack or something like that.
Yeah, but I think with that does wrap up the Newbie Cup 10 show match. All right, and we are here post show match interview with Khaltonus of the team with the same name. The one that we saw right next to Mild during pretty much all of those nuclear bombs we saw getting dropped during that 2 match series there. I guess first and foremost, I mean, how did it feel to have Process be so close in the beginning and then just immediately like turn around and just start, hit the ground running pretty much as soon as that like 4th round started?
It felt pretty good. It was probably due to the fact that we had Mild on Spy for like 7 minutes out of Process. But at the very least, a dub's a dub.
Hey man, you gotta do what you gotta do. A win is a win. But I guess next question there is still related to Process. I guess what were comms like? What was the kind of mindset going into it? Because obviously it's a show match. So were you guys thinking, let's get a little silly, because it's a show match, or were you thinking we gotta play this out as if this is our life right now. This is life and death. We gotta play this out as if it was a match or something.
We definitely tried to take it pretty seriously, put on a good show and provide a good example for the newbies, because I think it looked like you guys had like at least 100 viewers for the whole stream, so it was we were trying to play seriously at the very least, at least most of us, except for Rui dropping all the time. That was Rui and Shelzor, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely a lot of back and forth there. I guess on the topic of a lot of the newbies watching, is there anything you think you want to point out specifically or kind of go over that you hope some of the newer viewers might have gotten out of that?
I just hope they take away the example of, in a lot of cases, like gauging aggression. I think that's a pretty important thing that you definitely don't feel so much with lower divisions, but with a pretty stacked couple of teams here, the push and pull, I guess, of the aggression is probably the one takeaway I'd have, and pace.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the only other question I have here is, I mean, actually, I think I have two questions. They kind of go hand in hand. Number one, how excited are you for the actual upcoming event, being able to see the fruits of your labor, if you will? I don't know if you're coaching any teams or if you're on staff or, what's going on there, but how excited are you to see, either way, the fruits of your labor there kind of coming to fruition, first and foremost? And then secondly, how fun was the show match, I suppose? I mean, hopefully you enjoyed it, because, I mean, if you didn't, I don't know what the newbies are going to experience when they end up playing their games.
Yeah, I had a ton of fun in the show match. I really enjoyed, so we did one for Newbie Cup 9, and it was a really good time. And I always enjoy playing against players like Moose and No Way. It's a lot of fun, especially as a soldier where you're just getting punished for everything. It definitely, regardless of me being an event runner as well as a coach, I learn probably just as much from the show match as hopefully the newbies will learn in their scrims and officials. But I'm so excited for the Newbie Cup. Egan and I have put in a lot of work, hopefully to get it to go off without a hitch. And I know Egan's not coaching, but I am. I'm coaching with Witness, so I'm so excited to finally kick this off after the months of preparation.
Yeah, I think as far as the actual show match itself went as well, it was a nice blend of things as well. Like a lot of kind of diverse gameplay. We saw, I think, every off-class get used in situations that it makes sense to get used. We saw both teams have chances to push last, close games. I mean, Koth was very back and forth as well. So for any new players as well, there was definitely a lot of different things going on. It was not a one-sided match where you kind of only see a team play a mid and then hold last. No, there was plenty of opportunities to kind of suss out what's going on and learn from.
Yeah, we definitely tried to balance the teams to make for a good show, regardless of who won. The real objective was just, providing that good example, really.
Yeah, well, I think with all of that said, that I think is a good place to wrap up this interview. We obviously don't want it to go too long, because I think there's a whole myriad of questions we could be asking you right now that I think are on our minds. But yeah, I think that is going to do it for this post-game interview for the 10th Newbie Cup show match here on Fireside. So, of course, thank you, Khaltonus, for coming in and doing the post-game interview, and of course for coaching those teams and doing all the work that you're doing to make sure this Newbie Cup goes. It actually just happens and goes smoothly.
Yeah, thank you guys for streaming and doing the post game and being such close partners with TF2CC, because I know the newbies are always excited to get casted. So I look forward to it.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for tonight's stream. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. As a reminder, we will be live in about an hour with the Invite lower bracket semifinals. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. And we will see you then.